Well, hello, everyone.
Hello, cheer. Oh.
Yeah. Well, my name is Gayla Zoes. I work with Kimbrough Law, and joining me is.
Hi, I'm Mary Jo Johnson, and I also work for Kimbrough Law as one of the life care coordinators.
And we are here today because the gift giving season is upon us.
Yes, and Gayla, you know what? I don't know if you know this, but there's only 37 days left of shopping till Christmas.
No, how can that be? I just don't know how that can be. I'm going to have a sip of cocoa here.
Yeah, it's right around the corner.
Yeah. Well, because gift giving can be a challenge for anyone. It can be an especially large challenge if you're buying for elderly loved ones. And that's why we're here today. We're here to talk about gift ideas for the older adults on your list. So,
Absolutely.
but I have to do this. I have to do this. It's the law. It's Christmas, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive right in to a discussion of gift ideas. In fact, we have 3 great gift ideas, and I'll come back to the screen in just a second. Okay, 3 great gift ideas. Yes, we're going to come back to this. I'm going to unshare this because I have something I want to say first. So, Mary Jo, what is the biggest challenge that people have when it comes to buying gifts for their elderly loved ones?
I think the biggest challenge is just getting creative and thinking of new and different ideas each year. I get asked this question all the time because even though it's nice to get a certain pair of slippers or robe or a lap blanket or things like that, or lotion or powder, they just run out of ideas and they don't want to do the same old every year. So we've got a great list of unique and creative ones that you might not have ever have thought of.
All right, so let's dive right into our 3 great gift ideas. Okay, our first set of gift ideas are gifts that capture memory. So Mary Jo, let's talk about these.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that comes to mind most of all for me is the gift of time and the gift that keeps on giving. So when we go back to time, I'm always looking at how we can reflect on memories and the power of reminiscing. So these are some great gift ideas here. The pocketbook memory is one where it's a collection of your videos that you provide to this company.
Oops.
That then turns it into a video for you.
All right, here we come. We're getting to the actual URL.
There you go. That's it. And I have one sitting in front of me right now that I used as a sample, but this is one that really gives a life story of an individual. This is best for individuals who are probably living possibly in a facility where, when we look at some of the different functioning levels of individual, this was one that's really cool because they can just put it on their lap and sit there and enjoy the video over and over and over again. And it's just a real keepsake for them.
All right, let's look at our next one. It's how to make a memory book. Talk about this one.
Absolutely. For those where you don't want to fiddle with an actual video, and some people like the idea of a book in hand, this is where you also capture those same reminiscent memories, but more so in a print that's in a book with a collection of pictures that go with that. I have a sample of that one too. And that's for individuals who just really like a book in hand to be able to reflect on those wonderful memories of the past.
Okay. And then we have how to make a video of your photos.
Absolutely. This is one of my favorites as well, because we all have a ton of photos laying around, right? And how do we make sure that we can capture those photos in a video that can be, it can have the music with it and everything else. And I've done this a number of times with my family videos. I actually did 4 of them. One of them captured my parents in their younger days and their wedding and then having children. And then I captured another one with their children growing and all of their graduations. And then a third one was about the babies, the grandbabies that were coming. And then the fourth video was certainly about all of our fun vacations and holidays. So this is an amazing way to be able to watch and rewatch your fun videos that were the photos that you took. And now, right there in a wonderful collection of being able to treasure them on video.
Well, I think anyone would be happy to get that gift. So let's look at our next one. This is memorize your photo.
Yeah, this is another very similar one as well. We're just giving a lot of different examples. This is where you take your photos as well, and they digitalize it for you, so that you can have that. So instead of being stuck in a scrapbook or being, stuck on your phone, that's another way to be able to have that captured in those home movies.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then we have digitizing home videos.
Yeah, that's another one that's very, very similar. So you have some of your older versions, maybe the VHS tapes that you want to have converted over to something of more today's digital world, so that you can transfer that and still continue to enjoy them.
All right, I think that's amazing. So I'm going to go back to this list again, so we can see these. Now, for those of you watching, we've got some pretty complicated URLs here. If you want to watch the recording and go to the beginning part of that URL, you should be able to easily find what Mary Jo's talked about. Now, our next types of gifts that capture memories, Mary Jo, do you want to say anything about Tell Your Story and the electronic picture frame?
Yeah, I would. I have one of my clients here that absolutely wanted to have someone capture his life story through video and audio, so that he could pass it on to the future generations. He's in his late 80s, and he's so afraid that when he passes, all of the history and the knowledge that he has is going to go with him, and he wants it captured so that he can pass that on. So I had the very good fortune of running into an individual who does this out of sheer joy and passion, because he didn't want anyone's history to not be carried on. So he calls it Tell Your Story. So he's been meeting with this particular gentleman of mine that I have, this client, probably on about 5 to 6 occasions now, where he has videotaped his story, and then he makes it into like a documentary film to pass that on to the family. And it's an absolutely a wonderful way to do that. I myself did that with my parents, just sitting out in the yard, and we were able to videotape a 45-minute interview. And I tell you what, we have all watched that so many times over and over again. So I would say now is your time to be able to make that memory become realized by not missing a beautiful moment to be able to capture that in video.
Mm-hmm. And what about the electronic picture frame? What is that?
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that before or not. That can sit there on certainly in on a table or a bookshelf or what, but that's where you load all of your photos from your phone or wherever you have them into electronic picture frame, where they scroll and just constantly change. So however many photos you have. So that's just a beautiful reminder at all times that when you're passing by and just seeing that frame, it's just continuously changing. So it's not just one static photo, but it can be thousands of photos that are captured on that frame.
All right. I just want to take a moment to point out to our viewers that it is extremely Christmassy where we are. We're surrounded by cozy fires, by lights. And Mary Jo, if if your situation were any Christmassier, I just can't imagine what would be happening right now.
I know.
I expect to see Mrs. Claus wandering in to get something out of the room and then going back off to help stand with something.
Absolutely. The little elves as well.
All right, so we've talked about gifts that capture memories. Now we have another category of gifts, and those are gifts that improve quality of life. Now, when you see the screen that I'm about to share, don't panic. There's a really long URL there. We're gonna go to that URL, so you won't have to worry about copying that down. In fact, if you have any questions about anything you've seen in this video, just call Kimbrough Law, and we'll make sure that you get the link that you need to get this gift for a loved one. So here comes the next set of gifts, and these are gifts that improve quality of life. Okay, Mary Jo, take us through these.
Absolutely. One of the things that I talked about before was the time, as far as reminiscing about the past. This one here is more about the time of enjoying the moment right now. So when we talk about quality of life, we talk about individuals that oftentimes could be bored, lonely, and they just don't have enough to do to stimulate them, to give them that sense of purpose, sense of meaning. So it's really important to identify some quality of life types of gifts, ones that they would really enjoy. And I know that we've been talking about a lot of technology, but I tell you what, some people are afraid of technology and just need a little bit of support and assistance with being able to appreciate it. Others are more open-minded and really love the idea of some of the technology being introduced to them. But first and foremost on this list is the virtual reality goggles. And if you have never experienced virtual reality goggles,
oh wait, we have to see you in all of your glory here. Oh yes.
Oh my goodness. I love what I've been playing with these virtual goggles.
So what are you seeing right now?
Aquarium.
You're in an aquarium?
Swimming with dolphins and sharks. And I tell you what it is you just simply download the app on your phone and you put it in here and line it up, and you can hear the sounds, you can see the sights, and it's 3D, 360 degrees, so you can see it all around you, and it's amazing. And swimming with dolphins is just one example. They have skydiving, they have going to the zoo, going to the museum. So this one is really all about creating those adventures in the moment. Mm-hmm. And I love it from a bucket list standpoint too, because let's say somebody had on their bucket list to go skydiving. Well, maybe it's not practical to go skydiving, but they can experience it virtually, and it is so fun. So these goggles, the one you were just showing, is really designed for and only sold to long-term care facilities. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that they'd like family members to do is, if your loved one lives in a facility, that you introduce them to this and try to excite them to purchase such a thing for their activity department. Mm-hmm. And bring some life into those programs besides just bingo and hymn sing. Make it exciting. And so the second goggle that you're showing right now is similar to what I got. Mm-hmm. That's what individuals can purchase, and there's a lot of them out there. You'd have to do your research, but these are where you get these individually, and then you learn which virtual reality apps you might want to download on your phone to be able to utilize through this virtual reality goggle or Google. The goggles and the Googles, right?
Yes.
Yes. So I Googled it to find the goggles. So anyways.
So you can Google the goggles to find that perfect gift for your loved one.
That's right.
I love this idea of virtual reality goggles for somebody who, especially who, somebody who maybe lived a super active life, and then maybe, long-term illness or disability or something has made their world a little bit smaller. In fact, I got to tell you, I was telling my husband about these virtual reality goggles, and his parents have been, suffering some health setbacks, and they were boaters back in the day. We grew up on the Great Lakes, up on Lake Erie, and I know you grew up in the Lake Michigan area. And so you know what it's like to boat on big water and go to islands and go to beaches and go to the places that are like Key West that are all over the shorelines, and to have some virtual reality goggles that would put them back there on the water, on the islands in their glory days. I just think that would be so much fun.
Yes. Yeah, it is absolutely. And I'm so glad that there's an option for individuals who are living in their home, such as this one that we're showing now. So it's not just for people who live in facilities, that there's alternatives. And I think one of the big things for me is just educating myself and gaining knowledge about what all is out there to be able to experience in order to have these kind of adventures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so let's go to our next category. And that is
Yes.
iPads with brain games. Talk about that.
Oh my goodness. There are so many other apps for brain fitness. When we talk about the importance of physical fitness, we always say that brain fitness is just as important. So keeping somebody stimulated mentally, and now with the iPads, because the old-fashioned way of the crossword puzzles and things of that sort, which those are still good, but you can use an iPad for so many more games that they have out there for being able to keep one stimulated. And also in regards to the creative expression, they have apps on the iPad where you can actually color or do puzzles or things of that sort. There's so many. So as a gift idea, I encourage you to really look into some of these and then excite your older adult loved one to be able to experience some of these. Some of them might be afraid to try it, but once they're introduced to it with your help, oh my gosh, it can be so much easier and it can be life-changing for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, and I think that the iPad with brain games, the iPod with favorite music, the Audible books all kind of fall into that same general category, yes?
They do. It's about that stimulation and just having something to do other than just sheer silence. I have to give an example. Yesterday, I walked into one of my clients' rooms and he was sitting in total silence because he hadn't thought to turn the TV on. And one of the things I said to him is, why aren't you watching TV? And he said, because there's nothing to watch on TV and he's bored with TV because that's all he has. So the thing that I like about these ideas is that it kind of gives more variety to life, and it gives more opportunities for, and we always talk about music being, oh my goodness, music being one of, people's favorites, and for those people who love to read but no longer can read because of maybe vision deficit or something, to listen to a book and get lost in just that moment of the story is wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. The last two items on this list, raised garden boxes and pet companions.
Yeah.
Talk about those.
Yeah, they're a little different because they're not down that technology path, because not everybody is all about technology. But we have found that individuals who really loved gardening can continue that, whether indoor or outdoor gardening, whether you're, doing it for the pleasure of getting your hands dirty, or for being able to have the pleasure of caretaking for plants and watching them grow. There's just so many therapeutic benefits to gardening, and those people who love that, really appreciate being able to continue doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And the pet companion, I don't think I can say enough about a pet companion. And for some people, it's not practical because it might be too difficult to care for a pet, or they have some concerns about trip hazards, especially with a small little lap dog or a cat or something. But I tell you what, there's other individuals where it's the most perfect gift is that of a pet. And you can, there's even organizations where they have senior pets for older adults. And maybe that's probably at the Humane Society or things like that, where you can look to see where, they have pets that need to be adopted.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's a wonderful idea. And there's nothing, I mean, on a cold, snowy night, and you've got your snuggly little pup or your kitty or your chinchilla or whatever it is, it is a wonderful way to feel love and connection.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go to our third and final category of gift ideas for older loved ones. And those are gifts that encourage and simplify connections of time and presence. Talk about these.
Absolutely. So this one again is about, goes along the theme of time. And there is no greater gift than your time, right? Than a material object or something. However, we know in today's world that time might not be so available to us all. And so, or maybe the physical distance between us. But you know what, with again, back to technology, with today's technology, you can truly be present by giving your time with a loved one through virtual visits. And those virtual visits is exactly what we're doing right now. Gayla, for example, what state are you in right now?
I am in Nashville, Tennessee.
All right, and I'm in Athens, Georgia. So if you and I meet like this, it doesn't necessarily feel like there's any distance between us. So I had one particular client that I worked with that we had a weekly visit with his grandson. And that grandson lived in California and we were in Michigan. And that weekly visit meant so much to him because he had something to look forward to. And then he had something to enjoy and reflect and share and tell everybody about his visit with his grandson. So I remember growing up, my father always had a ritual of every Sunday at a certain time, he had to call his mom. And I think that basically this one, without trying to apply any pressure or guilt on anybody, I think it's really important for us to understand the value in just taking that moment, because your older adult loved one could be living in a period of time where there's a lot of loneliness because maybe there's too much time in between those visits. And that can be quite detrimental, the loneliness and isolation. And so thank goodness, with today's technology, you can meet virtually or try to make an effort, if you're there in person, to be able to do so, because your presence does matter. So
well, I think these are fabulous gift ideas for anybody who has older loved ones on their shopping list. So do you have any other tips for people other than, not to wait until Christmas Eve? Any gift giving tips?
oh boy. Well, I think I would try to identify their loved ones' favorites and their preferences, to see what might be the best match for them. And then I think with, obviously, again, with today's ease of online shopping, a lot of these things can be found on Amazon and they're here the next day. And I know we said we have only 37 days left, but I would try to look into some of those, especially with Black Friday coming up. And some of those you might be able to find for a really great deal. I do think, though, in order to be successful, it is going to take effort to be able to set your loved one up for success, because oftentimes technology takes that initial setup for someone. For example, just like a Google Nest. Hey, Google, what's the weather today, or play my favorite music, or I just
Mhm.
love Alexa and the Google Nest as well, which I didn't mention, but that's also a great gift. And it just needs someone to set that up to be able to be successful with the gift.
Mhm. Well, I think that's great advice. So I think with that, just a final word of advice to everyone. If you saw a gift idea that is interesting to you, but you don't remember the 500-word URL or the 500-letter URL we had, just call Kimbrough Law at 706-850-6910. We'll tell you where you can find that gift for your loved one. You can get it. And my heart warms just at the thought.
Yes, I hope this was helpful, and I hope you enjoy maybe taking advantage of one of the suggestions.
All right. Happy holidays, everyone. Have fun gift giving, and we'll see you soon.
Bye. Thanks for joining us.